Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
The body of water that you see to the right of our forward motion is the Seven Seas Lagoon. The Seven Seas Lagoon is a man-made creation that took 3 years and the removal of millions of cubic yards of earth to complete.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining us. I'm Tim Scott. This is ResortLoop.com, the gateway to the magic. Today I'm very excited. We have a longtime listener to the show, good friend of the show, Marlene Yukonewicz, and she's going to give us a little details about a recent cruise she took on a slightly new ship you might have heard about called the Disney Wish. Marlene, how are you doing?
Yay! I'm doing good. Doing good. All relaxed from the vacation. All ready to take another one.
Now, you're a cruise expert. Tell us what other ships you've been on.
I've only been on the Fantasy. I've been on that one 3 times.
There you go.
This one, yeah.
And I will say, getting to the Fantasy, you're a converted fan of the extended balconies?
Oh, I love the family suite extended balconies.
Most comfortable chair on the ship are those half loungers.
Yes, they are. And you can get room service when you're in your half loungers. Yes, you can.
We love talking vacations. Marlene, before we get into any details about the Wish, we were touching on this before the show. We were talking about, you were saying the transportation from the Disney resorts to the cruise ships runs very well. Can you tell us about your experience with those? Official Disney transfers is what we're talking about.
Yes, it does work very well. The day before, they actually come to pick you up. You get a letter with your luggage tags, if you don't have them already, in your room, and it tells you what time to go to the lobby in order to meet the cruise director that's there for the bus. So you have to have your luggage all ready by 7 o'clock of the morning that you leave. And then Bell Services comes and gets it, takes it to the bus, and then they load everything for you. You go down, you greet your little person who gets everybody checked off and checks your driver's license or passport before you get on the bus, checks you off, you get on the bus, and then you get an hour ride to the port. And they drop you off in line with a bunch of buses, but a Disney cast member comes on board the bus and they escort you to the terminal. And then they open the doors, you walk in and you check in with the people there. So it is so seamless and so easy.
Now, one thing I don't think a lot of people know is when you use the Disney transfers, you don't actually have to sign up for a port arrival time.
You do not. And we usually, the last 3 times I've used it, we've left at 8:30. So we were at the terminal 9:30, 9:45. So plenty of time, like we were an early arrival. They were checking our passports. Now, 3 people had checked mine before you walk through to go on the ship. Mm-hmm. And he goes, your passport's denied.
Oh, and Marlene, you didn't tell me this. You didn't tell me this part.
Well, because my heart had actually stopped at that point. And I'm like, no way. I said, I have been cleared. I've been cleared earlier. I've been cleared all the way up to this point. So she's like, well, let me get a different machine. I'm like, yeah, you go get that other machine.
You do that.
So somebody must have punched in a wrong number. And yeah, that was kind of like, then I'm like, don't panic. Disney will figure it out. Because I knew there wasn't anything wrong with me or my passport.
Right. I would have had them fire up the defibrillator because I would have been.
Oh man, to get that far. I mean, it was right before you walked onto the gangplank to go into the ship.
Wow.
The very last person. And I'm like, what? And Jess was like, yeah, Mom, it says declined. I'm like, what?
Oh my goodness.
Needless to say, I was glad to walk onto the atrium.
Was it the standard Disney cruise, welcome aboard?
It was. It was. Except they didn't clap for you this time.
Okay.
What they did instead was hand you a wand. And then, yeah, you got a wand, and then you waited for the fairy godmother to come out. And then the atrium kind of darkened. And then you had to wave your wand in order to have a magical cruise. And then the lights came back on and everything was bright and twinkly.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds like a good entrance.
Yeah. And you got to keep your wand.
Look at that.
So I
Magic.
know. Something you can keep that's free.
And you want to take that. Now, did you go right to somewhere for a meal as soon as you got on the ship?
See, we actually did. We went and had lunch. The only place open was 1928, that restaurant. And funny thing, it's two, of course. One is the Walt Disney side, one is the Roy Disney side. Roy Disney side was for us common folk, and the Walt Disney side was for everybody who was in the concierge level.
Interesting. Okay.
For lunch that day. That restaurant is very nice, but it's very small and the tables are very crowded together.
Oh.
Like I felt bad for the crew because they were having trouble getting in between each table with food.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, but it's a beautiful restaurant. It's very unique. It's set like in 1928.
I know when I looked at the different restaurants, that was the one there I kind of was like, that'd be my spot.
Yeah, it's very cozy.
All right.
And then we got a table right by the port window. So, and that was our table for the entire cruise as it ended up.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. So it was really nice. But yeah, so from there, our stateroom wasn't ready yet. So then we we explored the ship a little bit. Of course, I wanted to find the Cove Cafe.
Of course.
Yeah, but this coffee shop, which is my favorite coffee shop, but it's on the very top deck, back in a corner at the end of the ship, and there's no direct way to get to it. So you have to actually walk outside. So if it's raining, you would get wet going to this coffee shop.
I've heard it's very hard to find.
If I didn't know from another person where to look for it, I think I probably would have missed it or just given up.
Wow.
I know. But they do have two other coffee shops on decks 4 and 5. It's not that they had a lack of coffee shops, but my favorite one was way up on the top deck. Yeah. We went to the kids area, which was I Want to Be a Kid Again. It was amazing. Those kids have it made, which is why you never see kids on the cruise.
Right. Did you say kids taking the special slide down to the kids club?
Yeah, we even got to do that.
Did you?
Yeah, they opened it up twice. The first day we got there, and then one of our days at sea, which must have been the last day. They let us go down the slide.
I was going to say, were you supposed to go down the slide? You just said, I'm just going. Surprise, kids.
I went, do I look young enough to go down the slide? And she goes, you are in luck today.
Oh.
Okay, cool. So yeah, so we did get to do that. The marble area down in that kids area is amazing. Disney knows how to do it when it comes to the children, that's for sure.
They do.
We went to the DVC area and we talked to them. We went up to the gym area, which I was surprised felt smaller. It is smaller than the Fantasy. So we checked that out. We checked out the spa, which was very pretty, but very small.
Because you're a spa person.
Yeah.
Did you take advantage of the spa at all?
I did not. Not this trip. We just kind of explored more of the ship this time around.
I love that.
And like I said, it just felt smaller. And I'm thinking on a sea day with everybody on the ship, I don't know if you could use the spa. Because I don't think there'd be enough room.
Interesting. Because for the ship being the same size, it sounds like they've shrunk some of the adult areas. Do you think they made some of the kids' areas bigger?
Yes,
okay.
I do. Because the restaurants aren't that much bigger. I would say the Arendelle Frozen restaurant is about the same size as Animator's Palette.
Gotcha.
And let me tell you, that running track, whoever decided to do this running track was not thinking, because the running track is like in a horseshoe, so you can't go all the way around the ship. And in order to actually run the track, and that you have to go down like 3 flights of stairs and go up 2 flights of stairs. I mean, I'm like, what?
Wow.
Everybody was about that. Yeah. Like, what? And it covers 3 decks. So Yeah.
I think even the original Love Boat had a regular running track.
I know. On the Fantasy, you actually can go all the way around the trip or the track, the ship,
Yeah, I know
all the way around the ship.
that's one of our favorite strolls.
Oh, I know. And there's always characters on the Fantasy that you can walk or run with.
I'll tell you, Marlene, I'll be interested to see if they can change that on the next two ships coming out. I don't know if that's something they can easily change.
I know. I had a whole list of things to change when I left it in the box at the end of the cruise. I didn't hold back.
That's excellent, though. But I mean, how else are they going to know?
I know, right? We did check out there's many more pools on this ship, but they're very shallow. The adult one is back by the Cove Cafe. So that was kind of weird too. But the ship was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Was the adult area any more busy or less busy than the Fantasy?
I would say, well, because there's many pools it always seemed like they were crowded because they were smaller pools. I would say yes, it appeared to me like they were always crowded. It would be hard to get a lounging chair and then go from the pool to the chair to the pool to the chair because there just wasn't enough room. Because it's very narrow because they put the pools closer to the railing of the ship in the adult section. So then it was like the chairs and then a narrow walkway and then the pool. And the family pool, you know how on the Fantasy they have in the Dream, they have like one huge family pool.
Yes.
And on the Wish, they have several little ones.
Now, you mentioned when we were talking earlier, actually, I think it was in an email about the elevators on the Wish.
Okay. Who thought of this? Can I ask? Because there's only aft and what's the front of the ship?
Forward.
Aft, forward. Thank you.
Mhm.
Aft and forward. They're very narrow. There's not enough elevators on each end of the ship. And they're the hover buttons yet, and they haven't quite figured out yet how to not make it stop at every floor if your back happens to be up against the deck number.
Oh, yikes. So you get a crowded elevator. And people always run into the, but near the buttons.
And you're stopping at every floor then,
Oh.
whether you need to or not. But yeah, they were very narrow. And like on the Fantasy in the middle, you have the open glass elevators where you can look out at the atrium.
Mhm.
They don't have that on this ship. So
Wow.
you're all in a small area. Everybody's sweaty and hot. So I don't know who thought that up, but I'm hoping they change that in the next ship.
Oh, we'll see. I don't know. Judging by some of the concept art of the
It looks I know. I'm just like, I don't know. You think they'd give them enough time to change a few things, maybe?
right.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
But we'll see,
Maybe.
because maybe they just need to speed up the elevators a little bit, or like you said, fix those buttons, make them more efficient.
A lot of people were using the stairs this time.
Okay. Well, that's probably not a bad idea either, I guess. If you
Yeah.
can.
And they have 2 movie theaters now instead of one big one. We were hoping for Hocus Pocus 2,
Mhm.
but they didn't play it.
Oh.
But 2 small theaters, but one was after like Alice in Wonderland. So they had the back of the chairs and stuff were all etched with characters from there. And the other side was like the Peter Pan. And they had like Peter Pan engraved in the back of the chairs. And Captain Hook's sword was part of the railing. Very uniquely done. I'm super happy I went in there and looked around before anybody was in there, because the decor is amazing. All those little details that if you weren't looking for, you wouldn't probably notice. I would say the Walt Disney Theater, where they have all the Broadway shows, that is about the same size. So,
Okay.
yeah.
I want to talk some dining. So the main restaurants on the ship are 1923. We touched on that. The
Mhm.
worlds of Marvel and Arendelle.
Oh, yeah. And Arendelle. When you walk into Arendelle, the hallway is just like walking into the castle before you get to their banquet room.
Okay.
The details, it just sets the mood immediately. that one, you get a dinner show, so there's constant singing in between and during your meals.
Was it too much
And,
singing? Because
yeah.
dinner
Well,
theaters usually kind of there's a balance there somewhere, and sometimes they don't quite hit it.
it is kind of loud. I mean, I felt bad for the cast members or the crew members because they really had to talk loud and fast.
Gotcha.
So, and I felt by having the dinner theater stuff, you didn't get to know your servers as well as you do on the other ships.
Interesting.
Yeah, yeah. But I don't want to give too much away in case anybody's going, but the people who were singing, and I mean, oh my gosh, they could all cut records. They were so good.
Oh,
So, or
wonderful.
beyond Broadway. Yeah, they were really good. And they do meander through the tables before and during and after, before they go into the big round thing in the middle. And there are some bad seatings. Like if you're sitting far away and you're by a post, you're going to miss some of the show.
Ah,
So depending on where your table is.
okay.
But yeah, the food it was my least favorite food. So, but it was okay. Nothing that I would have ordered again. And that I felt that way through the whole dining experience. I thought they were lacking a little bit on the quality of food we got this time. And I'm hoping it's just because they're still ironing out some bugs.
Yeah, that could be. Absolutely.
Yeah, because, other times I'd be like, oh my gosh, I want to have this tomorrow night because it's so good.
Oh, right.
You know,
How was the
but we
World of
didn't get-
Marvel?
That was my favorite. Yeah, that was very well done. And they did the show, like you got part of the show before your servers came and got your orders. And then after that, it was kind of like timed so that before your appetizer came, there was another part of the show. And then you ate and there was no show. And then right before your main dish came out, they would again have part of the show. So it was very well timed in between your meal. It was really good. Let's put it that way. You'll truly enjoy it. It was my favorite. And the food on that side was really good. It was my favorite of the night, of the whole cruise.
Interesting, because when I heard there was going to be a Marvel restaurant, I was like, well, I'm not sure that's quite the dining experience I would want, but it sounds like it was really good.
Yeah, well, they're on big screens by your table. So it's like you get this big TV screen. And then so you're right there looking and watching. And then at the very end, they have characters come out and walk through so you can take pictures. And yeah, it was very well done. And of course, they incorporate the Disney Wish into the storyline.
Oh, interesting.
So
Okay.
yeah, it's like you're actually part of what's going on. That was my favorite, I must say.
How are the rooms on the new ship? How are the staterooms?
Okay.
Oh, she's settling
Well,
in. She's settling in.
I am settling in. The staterooms are the one thing I do like about this ship a lot is the color scheme that they came up with. It is very cool, calming, bright colors, or the brightness to the room is amazing. We were in a family suite. We had a Murphy bed, a queen size bed, and a couch that pulled out into a bed. The Murphy bed was amazing. And the Murphy bed actually came down in front of the veranda doors. So that's where I slept. So I would kind of just like open the curtain. So in the morning when I looked out, it was just sunrise was coming up and you got the ocean.
Oh,
It was so that was my favorite. I wish they had Murphy beds on the other ships. I think if you were a family though, seeing as we were in a family room, I don't know the storage. There's not enough storage. There's like no drawers. All you get is a closet with some shelves in it. So if you were there for like, for instance, 7 days, I think you would run out of room. You'd have to live out of your suitcase in the bottom.
oh, wow.
Yeah. So that was that. Yeah. Even for us, I'm like, there isn't really a lot of storage in this room. And then the TV, I don't know who figured out the TV situation, but there was a huge TV, but it was at the end of the main bed. So if you were sitting on the couch or laying in the Murphy bed, you couldn't see the TV, and the TV does not swivel. So I'm like, what?
You know what? That was one of the first things I noticed when they put out some of the actual pictures of the staterooms. I was like, oh, does anybody really do that at home? Put their TV right at the foot of their beds?
So then I'm thinking, well, maybe there's a TV hidden in the closet, or something. But no. So I thought that was a little oopsie when they designed the room. But one thing I really liked was that they put a nightlight in the bathrooms.
Oh, that's wonderful.
That I thought was really good idea. We were in a Cinderella room. We had the fairy godmother as our picture. So the stateroom is really nice. And of course, people forget that room service is free. So I had to tell a few people that, and they went, really? I said, yeah, you want coffee in the morning? They'll bring you coffee. You want a Mickey bar at 11:30 at night? They will bring you a Mickey bar.
Absolutely.
And you don't have to pay for it. Just tip your servers well.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's one thing I do really appreciate about the Disney Cruise Line. That is so convenient.
Now, you also mentioned one of the positive takeaways you took from your cruise was the laundry room.
Let me tell you,
Please.
This laundry room I live in, it's so big. Much bigger than on the other ship I was on.
Mm-hmm.
And then you put your laundry in the washer, and it goes to your Navigator app, and then it lets you know when your wash is done so you can come and get it and put it in a dryer. You don't have to be in the laundry room the entire time. And you're not wasting time thinking, is my laundry done? Because the app tells you.
That's fantastic.
I know, right? I'm like, this is really cool.
And I did see a picture somewhere that the laundry rooms are themed very well.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. And they have ironing boards. Like they had 6 ironing boards in there.
Wow. It's like you're doing...
It was like a whole stateroom in itself. I did like that. We didn't go to Palo or Ashante this time, but we did stop in at the Rose Lounge, which is right outside the restaurants there. Very high. And in fact, we had shorts and a t-shirt on, and we just looked at each other and went, are we dressed enough to come in here for a drink? And I said, we're on a Disney cruise. We're going in.
Oh, we're fine.
So we're fine. But yeah, it was definitely, there's that on the Disney Fantasy, there is that little lounge that's right outside the restaurants, but it's not as high. It didn't feel as high end as this one did. But yeah, it was very nice. And all the chairs looked out at the ocean.
And your drinks were good?
Oh yeah. Sometimes I wish they had a drink package. Sometimes I don't.
Right.
So yeah. But yeah, they were... Yeah. Oh, we went to the Hyper Lounge, the Hyperspace Lounge.
And?
We were there the first day. It's very small. I thought it would be a lot bigger, but it's very small. And all the glasses that they serve their drinks in are the same glasses that you have at every other lounge on the ship.
Oh.
So that wasn't special. What it reminded me of was the space with a 220 restaurant at Epcot, where behind the bar, the screen changes like you're actually on a ship, and you get that hyper takeoff when the ships go fly somewhere.
Right.
Yeah, so that was it. The drinks, of course, were normal drinks, but they all had Star Wars names. So yeah, so it was okay. I one and done on that one.
Okay.
I think. And then right outside that was the Bayou Lounge, and that one is beautiful.
Is that small also?
Well, it's in the center, and it's open seating. So, like if you're a family waiting to go eat and you have your kids, the kids are taking up more chairs than the adults.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And they were all fairly small, but that one was the biggest of them all. We didn't have a beignet there, but I hear they're really good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So that one, and they have the piano bar, which is just to the left of that one. And you know how the adult section on the other ship is at the top and tucked away in the back?
Yeah.
One is kind of in the center of the ship. So But you walk to it on your way to the 1928 restaurant, as a matter of fact.
What do you personally prefer? All the adult areas being in like one location, or have them spread out around the ship?
I like it being in one location.
Okay. That's kind of the
Yeah.
consensus I've been hearing, but
Oh, really? Yeah,
yeah.
most definitely. It's just I don't feel you have the camaraderie like you do on the other ships. So when it's spread out like it is on the Wish.
I can see that because you're going to be hanging around the kind of the same people. You kind of get to know them. You can joke around with them a little bit. Maybe play trivia with them.
Because if you have a drink before dinner, chances are the same people are going to be there night after night, before they go into the restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is kind of nice because then you get to meet people from other countries or other areas of the United States.
And that's one thing that's great about cruise vacations.
I know, right? And you're kind of, not that you're stuck there, but you're in a closed-in area. So not that you see the same people all the time, but if they're on your same dining schedule, chances are you're going to see the same people.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. And as long as we're on eating, that Marceline Market, I sound like I have more cons than pros, but the Marceline Market was, how am I going to put this? It is nice, but it's very narrow. So if you're walking around the buffet to see what's available to eat, 8 chances out of 10, you're going to bump into somebody.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's very, very narrow walkway there. And then the seating is so spread out that it's hard to find a place to sit. So we ended up walking all the way to the other side and sitting down at the very end there because a lot of people didn't know that little area was tucked away.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So that was kind of a disappointment. That was my big disappointment of the ship, I think, because I expected a little bit better, I think. But it was very well themed. They had a lot of Walt Disney stuff in there from Missouri. They had a lot of different antique things on the walls for you to look at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And they had a coffee shop right by the Marceline Market also.
How was that?
I didn't get any coffee from there, but a lot of people took advantage of that area over there and sat down to eat. At the buffet was, I would say, a step up from the other buffet.
From Cabanas.
If you like buffet food, they do have a barbecue area.
Ooh.
Yeah, that everybody was raving about. It was mostly meat. They had macaroni and cheese. So that was the pizza, though. Oh my gosh, the pizza was really good on that ship. Whatever they did, they improved the pizza 300%. Yeah, the pizza was really good.
That's good to know.
So, yeah, not cardboardy or nothing. And fresh. Yeah. And of course, the crew members, the cast members are amazing.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I was going to tell you too about the stateroom. You have to look for the phone.
Oh my goodness.
The phone is kind of tucked away under a shelf. And then it's nailed to the shelf. So then you have to actually turn on the flashlight on your phone in order to see what button you want to push for room service or something else.
Oh, wow.
I told Jess, I'm like, some of us are old. Who thought of this?
To order room service, I would find that phone quickly.
Oh, right. That's why I got the flashlight out.
I'm surprised you can't order room service through the Navigator app.
Oh my gosh, that's a great idea.
Anyway.
That would be amazing.
Peruse the menu, just hit little check marks and bring it to my room.
Right? Another thing, too, that I found interesting was that if I didn't know from the first night of our first show that we had a cruise director, I would not have known that we had a cruise director on that ship.
Oh, my goodness.
They had no room broadcast in the morning telling you like what was going on and what time to leave the ship and what time to be back. And they didn't have any of that. Before I used to see them like roaming the halls and stuff. Yeah. Never saw him at all, except at night during the show.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I really missed the room broadcast. And they didn't replay any of the shows in the room either. Like on the other ships, we would whatever show was playing that night, they would rebroadcast for the parents who couldn't go to the show because they were getting their kids ready for bed or whatever. They didn't replay those at all.
Interesting.
Okay, let's talk trivia games.
Oh, I love the trivia.
There were trivia games like scheduled every 25 minutes. But if you were at the Triton Lounge, did you have enough time to go to the other lounge to get to the other trivia game you might have wanted to do?
You probably would if they had an actual running track.
Right? Instead of going back and forth over the horseshoe. But no, so you had to kind of pick and choose what trivia games you wanted to do because they were so close together.
Huh.
Yeah. Yeah. And then they had the character drawings. They had a lot of craft making this time. Yeah. So I thought that was kind of strange that they didn't leave more room in between. The first show of the night was absolutely amazing. It's like Goofy is in a dream, and all the princesses and stuff come out and sing a song dedicated to their character. Broadway quality. And that's all I'm going to say. It was so good.
Oh, good.
And then the second show we had was Little Mermaid. Personally, because I was sitting amongst children, I thought it was too adult for the kids because they were totally lost in the story. They got bored. So it was more adult than instead of more children themed. But it was still very good. But yeah, I thought that was a little strange, especially Little Mermaid. Right?
Right.
And then the next show we had was Aladdin, which is the same show that we had on the Fantasy. Just the genie changed his stick a little bit with more current affair stuff that was going on.
How was Pirate Night on the Wish?
Do you know that from my room, we could watch the fireworks?
Oh, magical.
Yeah. So that was really cool. We didn't have to stand with all those people.
Right. And you're on the starboard side of the ship. So if anybody out there wondering.
Yes, we were. And then the pirate show was similar to the Fantasy, a little bit more rock and rolly. Our ship was the first one they did the interactive game with.
Did you do that at all?
We tried. I think you have to be a little bit tech savvy for that one, even though it's on your Navigator app. But we had to ask a couple young kids a couple times, like, okay, we were lost again. So, and they helped us. But yeah, a lot of people were doing it. The pictures aren't as easy to find. You really have to scour and watch. It tells you it's on deck 5 in a certain section, but it doesn't tell you what you're looking for.
Oh, that can be a big section.
Yeah. So we're like, well, we don't know. So, thank goodness. And this one kid, I don't know if he was following us or felt sorry for us, but he was here a few times. But it's right over here. It's over here.
Oh.
Like, oh. Yeah. And everybody was really excited that was available, the ship. So
yeah,
there were tons of characters for pictures this time, like more than I've ever seen, even at the parks.
Wow.
It seemed like every time I turned around, there was a time to take pictures with the princesses or Moana or the Sanderson sisters so I thought that there was a lot more, and they were always on the balcony, like Rapunzel was always up there waving, or the fairy godmother. Yeah. So plenty of time to take pictures, which I thought was really good.
Yeah.
Because you can't always just walk down and see a character, and this time it was like, and they were just kind of roaming like they do in California at Disneyland. They were just kind of roaming around a lot of times. So I thought that was cool. And then they also have a thing on the app where you can sign up to meet the princess gathering.
Oh.
Yeah. So then you have a dedicated time to go meet all the princesses and get your picture taken. So I thought that was really cool.
That was well thought out.
Yeah, that one I thought was, and then the parents could get their kids from the kids section if they wanted to, get their pictures taken, and then scooch them on back if they wanted to.
Right.
The pumpkin tree was amazing. They did a pumpkin tree lighting late in the afternoon on our very first night. So, yeah.
Now, did you wear costumes? Cool. Didn't you have a Halloween on the high seas?
We did, and no, we didn't.
Oh,
I had my Madame Leota t-shirt, so that's what I wore.
there you go.
I can't remember what just couldn't have been too memorable because I don't remember. But our table, this time they didn't put you separate, like you were just in a normal table with other people this time.
Okay.
And the two women we were seated with, which was also a mother-daughter,
Oh,
they were dressed for every single thing. They did not miss a beat. They were so cool. And from Ohio too, by the way.
oh, very nice.
Yeah. So that was fun. We had a great table to share.
I'll tell you,
But no,
table mates can help, really make a vacation too.
Oh, yeah. You just can't wait to get the supper to see what they did during the day compared to what you did during the day.
Mhm.
So, yeah. Yeah. So the pumpkin tree lighting was great. And then at night, they always do the goodnight kiss, which is, and a lot of people lay on the carpet for this and look up at the ceiling because the lights go dim, the chandelier comes on, and then they play this really soothing music. And then it's like shooting stars go all the way through the ceiling. And then the fairy godmother comes on and tells you to have a good night.
Wow.
I know they do it at 10, 11, and midnight. So, yeah, so that was good. Other than that, I don't know. We had a really good time. I really appreciate you helping us out, getting our reservations and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, it's my
Then,
pleasure.
yeah. And then, of course, the same thing, have your luggage out in the hallway at 10 o'clock at night. So your luggage is gone. And then they okay, you're done with your cruise. Get up, go have breakfast and get off the ship, please.
Right, exactly. It's not quite as magical that last morning when you get off.
I know.
Get off our boat.
Oh, but I can't say enough about Disney transportation. Again, we have our luggage with us, but the bus driver or the motor coach driver puts it at the bottom of your bus, and then they take you right to the hotel that you're staying at. So we stayed at Saratoga Springs our first 2 nights, and then when we got back from the ship, we stayed at the Riviera.
Not a
which
bad
was
way to wrap up a cruise.
I know. It was so nice, but it poured that night. And that's another thing. We were so worried about Hurricane Fiona.
Mhm.
Who would have thought it was right on its tail? Because the cruise after us is the cruise that was out to sea a couple more days.
Yes.
I do want to tell you, though, the Wi-Fi package on the Wish was really good this time. The Wi-Fi was excellent.
Oh, good, good.
No complaints whatsoever.
That's good to know because a lot of people actually need the Wi-Fi they might be doing some work stuff while they're there, and you need to be able to get on as
Yep.
soon as you can. You
It's
don't
like
want a slow connection.
No, it was 200% better than the other cruise ships we were on.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, so they did up their game on that one. I hope they follow through with the other ships now.
Oh, I hope so. They need a bit of a major upgrade on those.
Yes, they do. Yeah. All in all, I did like the Wish. My favorite is still the Fantasy. There were a lot of crew members on this ship. There were from other ships, like Fantasy, Disney Dream, the Wonder, the Magic, and then also other cruise lines. So we got to meet a few that came over from the Royal Caribbean
Okay.
and Carnival, I think, were the ones we talked to.
Interesting. Fun.
Yeah. And then come to find out, one of the servers that was at the next section over, she was our old server from our last cruise.
Oh,
We're like, Kara? And she's like, Jess and Jess's mom? We're like, hey, girl, what are you doing here? She goes, by contract. And then I'm going back to the Fantasy. And I'm like, oh, great. That'll be good. So, but yeah, so they're trying to get cast members from all over for as many as they can.
Right. We kind of assumed they were going to be taking their best of the best from the other ships to get them on the Wish to train up people or, get things rolling with that.
Yeah. And as one of our servers said, we're trying to get everybody Disney-fied.
Right. The Disney way of doing things.
Right. Exactly right. But to get back to the Disney transportation, the coach is waiting for you when you walk out after breakfast. And you sit there, and when your bus is full, you just take off and they drop you off at your hotel.
That's well worth, having Disney just finish taking care of everything for you.
Oh, yeah, because you don't, like I said, you have your luggage ready at 7 o'clock in the morning before the day you board the ship, on embarkation day. And that you don't see your luggage again until you're on the ship. Reminds me of the old Magical Express days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah, I can't say enough about the Disney transportation for the cruise. Easy peasy.
Yes.
Oh, I was going to say, I like it too that you can add your tips before you even get on the ship. And then you just have to supplement on your last night from what you already gave.
Oh, yes. If you choose to give more.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I like this. The ship was very pretty. It was very bright. It was totally different from the other ships. I didn't get that luxury feeling, but I did get the cruisy feeling.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. So we had a great time, ready to do it again.
And that means a lot when you say you're willing to do a cruise again with, a couple of things you weren't fond of, and see how they improve on that and how it goes.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you always got to give it a try, and it's just new and different. So I would do it again just to see if I come away with the same feelings.
Right.
Yeah.
Because by then the whole crew's up to speed, and it's not a brand new ship, and they've worked out all the kinks.
Yeah, I think so too. I think once they get everything under their belt and everything, Castaway Cay was amazing. We had great weather. Yeah, our weather was amazing. So no complaints here at all. Like I said, I'm ready back again. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
With your help, of course.
Oh.
Well, not for paying, but for arranging it.
No problem, Marlene. I appreciate that. Well, Marlene, thank you so much for coming on the show.
You're very welcome. I'm always available to talk Disney anytime.
And I appreciate that. I'm Tim Scott. Thanks for joining us. If you're thinking of booking a trip, you want to go on a Disney cruise or head to Disney Park, ResortLoop.com. Once again, I'm Tim Scott. You've been listening to The Gateway to the Magic. We'll see you, everybody.
Bye. See you later, everybody.
Nice.
ResortLoop.com is not endorsed or authorized by or affiliated with the Walt Disney Company or its subsidiaries. ResortLoop.com may be filmed before a live audience. Action figures sold separately. Batteries not included. Breaking the seal voids your warranty. Allow 4 to 6 weeks for delivery. May cause drowsiness, nausea, dizziness, or blurred vision. Call before you dig. Apply brake before shifting. If a rash, redness, irritation, or swelling develops, discontinue use. In an emergency, an oxygen mask will drop down from above your head. Illustrations are slightly enlarged to show detail. In the event of a water landing, the show does not become a flotation device. The views, information, or opinions expressed are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily